Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention. A kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars. And at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon, gentles all, the flat, unraised spirits that have dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France? Or may we cram within this wooden O the very casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? Oh, pardon, since a crooked figure may attest in little place a million, and let us, ciphers to this great account, on your imaginary forces work. Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined two mighty monarchies, whose high upreared and abutting fronts the perilous narrow ocean parts asunder. Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts. Into 1,000 parts divide one man, and make imaginary puissance. Think, when we talk of horses, that you see them, printing their proud hooves in the receiving earth, for 'tis your thoughts that now must deck our kings, carry them here and there, jumping o'er times, turning the accomplishment of many years into an hourglass, for the which supply, admit me, chorus to this history, who, prologue-like, your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge our play.
My lord, I'll tell you that same bill is urged, which in the 11th year of the last king's reign was like, and had indeed against us passed, but that the scambling and unquiet time did push it out of farther question.
But how, my lord, shall we resist it now?
It must be thought on. If it pass against us, we lose the better half of our possessions. For all the temporal lands which men devout by testament have given to the church, would they strip from us? Thus runs the bill.
This would drink deep.
'Twould drink the cup and all.
But what prevention?
The king is full of grace and, fair regard.
And a true lover of the Holy Church.
The courses of his youth promised not. The breath no sooner left his father's body, but that his wildness, mortified in him, seemed to die too. Yea, at that very moment, consideration like an angel came and ripped the offending Adam out of him, leaving his body as a paradise to envelop and contain celestial spirits. Never was such a sudden scholar made. Never came a reformation in a flood with such heady currents scoring faults, nor never hydra-headed willfulness so soon did lose its seat, and all at once, as in this king.
We are blessed in the change.
Hear him with reason and divinity, and all admiring with an inward wish, you would desire the king who made a prelate. Hear him debate of commonwealth affairs. You would say it hath been all in all his study. List his discourse of war, and you shall hear a fearful battle rendered you in music. Turn him to any cause of policy. The Gordian knot of it he will unloose, familiar as his garters of the air. A chartered libertine is still, and the mute wonder that lurketh in men's ears to seal his sweet and honeyed sentences, so that the art and practic part of life must be the mistress to his theoric, which is a wonder how his grace should lean it, for his diction was of course his vain, his companies unlettered, rude and shallow, his hours taken up by rites, banquets, sports, and never in him noted any study, any retirement, any sequestration from open haunts and popularities.
The strawberry grows underneath the nettle, and wholesome berries thrive and ripen best, neighbored by fruit of baser quality. And so the prince obscured his contemplation under the veil of wildness. But, my good lord, how now for mitigation of this bill urged by the commons? Doth his majesty incline to it or no?
He seems indifferent, or rather swaying more upon our part. For I have made an offer to his majesty as touching France, to give a greater sum than ever at one time the clergy yet did unto his predecessors, part with all.
How did this offer seem received, my lord?
With good acceptance of his majesty. To say that there was not time enough to hear, as I do perceive his majesty would fain have done, the severals and unhidden passages of his true titles to certain dukedoms, and generally the crown and seat of France, derived from Edward, his great-grandfather.
What was the impediment that broke this off?
The French ambassador upon that instant craved audience, and the hour, I think, has come to give him hearing. Is it 4 o'clock?
It is.
Then go we in to know his embassy, which I could with a ready guess declare before the Frenchman speak a word of it.
I'll wait upon you, and I long to hear it.
Where's my gracious Lord of Canterbury?
Not here in presence.
Send for him, good uncle.
Shall we call in the ambassador, my liege?
Not yet, my cousin. We would be resolved before we hear him of some things of weight that task our thoughts concerning us and France.
God and his angels guard your sacred throne, and make you long become it.
Sure, we thank you. My learned lord, we pray you to proceed and justly and religiously unfold why the law Salic that they have in France, or should not bar us in our claim. And God forbid, my dear and faithful lord, that you should fashion, rest, or bow your reading. For God doth know how many now in health shall drop their blood in approbation of what your reverence shall incite us to. Therefore, take heed how you impawn our person, how you awake our sleeping sword of war. For never two such kingdoms did contend without much fall of blood, whose guiltless drops are every one a woe, a sore complaint against him whose wrongs gives edge unto the sword. Under this conjuration speak, my lord, for we will hear, note, and believe in heart that what you speak is in your conscience washed as pure as sin with baptism.
Then hear me, gracious sovereign, and you peers that owe yourselves, your lives and services to this imperial throne. There is no bar to make against your highnesses' claim to France, but this which they produce from Fairmont. Oh my God. In terram salicam mulieris nesuccinant, no woman shall succeed in Salic land, which Salic land the French unjustly blows to be the realm of France, and Fairmont the founder of this law and female bar. Yet their own authors faithfully affirm that the land Salic is in Germany, twixt the floods of Elbe and Saale, where Charles the Great, having subdued the Saxons, there left behind and settled certain French, who, holding in disdain the German woman for some dishonest manners of their life, established then this law, to wit, no female shall be inheritrix in Salic land, which Salic, as I said, twixt Elbe and Saale, is at this day in Germany. Meissen. Yet, so it must be that the land of Salic was not devised for the realm of France, nor did the French possess the land Salic until 421 years after the function of King Fairmont, who died within the year of our redemption, 426. And Charles the Great did seat the Salic beyond the river of France in the year 805. Also, King Pepin, who deposed Childeric, did as heir general, being descendant of Blithid, which was daughter to King Clotaire, lay claim and title to the crown of France. Hugh Capet, also, who usurped the crown of Charles, Duke of Lorraine, a sole heir male of the true line and stock of Charles the Great, defined his title with some shows of truth, though in pure truth it was corrupt and not. Conveyed himself as the heir to Lady Lingar, daughter to the Charlemagne, who was a son to Louis the Amber, and Louis the son of Charles the Great. King Louis X also could not keep quiet in his conscience, wearing the crown of France, till satisfied that fair Queen Isabel, his grandmother, was lineal to Lady Ermengar, our daughter to Charles IV, said Duke of Lorraine, by which marriage the line of Charles the Great was reunited to the crown of France. So that, as clear as the summer sun, King Heaven's title, Duke Bay's claim, King Louis's satisfaction, all appear to hold in right and title of the female. So do the kings of France unto this day, howbeit they would hold up this Salic law to bar your highness claiming from the female, rather choose to hide them in a net than amplify to embar their crooked titles usurped from you and your progenitors.
May I, with right and conscience, make this claim?
With sin upon my head, Judge Sovereign, from the book of Numbers script. When man dies, let the inheritance descend unto the daughter. Gracious Lord, stand for your own. Unwind your bloody flag. Look back unto your mighty ancestors. You are their heir. You sit upon their throne. The blood and courage that noted them runs in your veins. And my thrice puissant liege is in the very mayborn of his youth, ripe for exploits and valiant enterprises.
Your brother kings and monarchs of the earth do all expect you should rouse yourself, as did the former lines of your blood.
Your grace hath cause and means and might, so hath your highness. Never king of England had nobles richer, more loyal subjects, whose hearts have left their bodies here in England and lie pavilion in the fields of France.
Oh, let their bodies follow, my dear liege, with blood and sword and fire to win your right. In aid, we of the spirituality will raise your highness such a mighty sum as never did the clergy at one time bring to any of your ancestors.
We must not arm only to invade the French, but lay down our proportions to defend against the Scot, who will make road upon us. For you shall read that my great-grandfather never went with his forces into France, but that the Scot, on his unfurnished kingdom, came pouring in like the tide into a breach, that England, being empty of defense, hath shook and trembled at the ill neighborhood.
She hath been more feared than harmed, my liege, for hear her but exampled by herself. When all her chivalry hath been in France, and she a mourning widow of her nobles, she hath herself not only well defended, but taken and impounded as a stray the King of Scots, whom she did send to France to fill King Edward's fame with prisoner kings, and fill her chronicle with praise, as is the ooze and bottom of the sea with sunken wrack and sunless treasuries.
But there's a saying very old and true. If that you will France win, then would Scotland first begin. For once the eagle England being in prey, to her unguarded nest the weasel Scot comes sneaking, and so sucks her princely eggs, playing the mouse in absence of the cat, to tame and havoc more than she can eat.
It follows then the cat must stay at home, yet that is but a crushed necessity. For we have locks to safeguard necessaries, and pretty traps to catch the petty thieves. While if the armed hand doth fight abroad, the advised head defends itself at home. For government, though high and low and lower, put into parts doth keep in one consent, agreeing to a full and natural close like music.
I this infer, that many things holding full reference to one consent may work contrariously. As many arrows, lucid several ways, come to one mark, as many ways meet in one town, as many streams meet in one salt sea, as many lines close in the dial center. So may 1,000 actions, once afoot, come an end to one purpose, and be all well born without defeat. Therefore defense, my liege, divide your happy England into four, where take you one quarter into France, and you withal shall make all Gallia shake. If we, with thrice such powers, cannot defend the doors from the dog, let us be worried, and our nation lose the name of hardiness and policy.
Call in the messenger sent from Catherine. Now we well resolved, by God's help and yours, the noble sinews of our power, France being ours, we'll bend it to our awe, or break it all to pieces. Or there we'll sit, ruling in large and ample empery over France and all her almost kingly dukedoms. or lay these bones in an unworthy urn, tombless, with no remembrance o'er them. Now are we well prepared to hear the pleasure of our fair cousin Catherine, for we hear your greetings from her, not from the king.
May it please your majesty to give us leave freely to render what we have in charge, or shall we sparingly show you far off fair Catherine's meaning in our embassy?
We are no tyrant, but a Christian king. Therefore, with frank and uncurbed plainness, tell us the lady's mind.
Thus then in view, your highness lately sending into France did claim some certain dukedoms in the right of your great predecessor, King Edward III. In answer of which claim, Catherine, our lady, says that you savor too much of your youth, and bids you be advised there's naught in France that can be with a nimble galliard won. You cannot revel into dukedoms there. She therefore sends you, meeter for your spirit, this ton of treasure, and, in lieu of this, desires you let the dukedoms that you claim hear no more of you. This the princess speaks.
What treasure, uncle?
Tennis balls, my liege.
We are glad that Catherine is so pleasant with us. Her present and your pains we thank you for. When we have matched our rackets to these balls, we will in France, by God's grace, play a set. She'll strike her father's crown into the hazard. Tell her she hath made a match with such a wrangler that all the courts of France will be disturbed with chases. And we understand her well, how she comes o'er us with our wilder days, not measuring what use we made of them. We never valued this poor seat of England, and therefore, living hence, did give ourself to barbarous license, as 'tis ever common men are merriest when they are from home. But tell the princess I will keep my state. Be like a king. Show my sail of greatness when I do rouse me in my throne of France. For that I have laid by my majesty and plotted like a man for working days. But I will rise there with so full a glory that I will dazzle all the eyes of France, and yea, strike Catherine blind to look on us. And tell the princess that this mock of hers hath turned her balls to gunstones, and her soul shall stand sore, charged for the wasteful vengeance that shall fly with them. For many 1,000 widows shall this her mock out of their dear husbands, mock mothers from their sons, mock castles down. And many are yet ungotten and unborn that should have cause to curse at Catherine's scorn. But this lies all within the will of God, to whom I do appeal, and in whose name tell you, the princess, that I am coming on, to venge me as I may, and to put forth my rightful hand in a well-hallowed cause. So get you hence in peace, and tell the princess that this jest of hers will savor but of shallow wit, when thousands weep more than did laugh at it. Convey them with safe conduct, fare you well.
This was a merry message.
We hope to make the sender blush at it. Therefore, my lords, omit no happy hour that may give furtherance to our expedition. For we have now no thought in us but France, save those to God that run before our business. Therefore, let our proportions for these wars be soon collected, and all things thought upon that may with reasonable swiftness add more feathers to our wings. For God before, we'll chide this princess at her father's door.
Now the youth of England are on fire, and silken dalliance in the wardrobe lies. Now thrive the armorers, and honor's thought reigns solely in the breast of every man. They sell the pasture now to buy the horse, following the mure of all Christian kings with winged heels as English Mercuries. For now sits expectation in the air, and hides a sword, hilt unto the point, with crowns imperial. Crowns and coronets promised to Harry and his followers. The French, advised by good intelligence of this most dreadful preparation, shake in their fear, and with pale policy seek to divert the English purposes. O England, model to thy inward greatness, like little body with a mighty heart, what mightst thou do that honor would thee do were all thy children kind and natural? But see, thy fault France hath in thee found out, a nest of hollow crowns which he fills with treacherous crowns, and 3 corrupted men. 1, Richard, Earl of Cambridge, and the 2nd, Henry, Lord Scroop of Masham, and the 3rd, Sir Thomas Grey, Knight of Northumberland, have, for the guilt of France, oh, guilt indeed, confirmed conspiracy with fearful France, and, by their hand, this grace of kings must die, if hell and treason hold their promises, ere he take ship for France, and in Southampton. Linger your patience on, and we'll digest the abuse of distance force a play. The sum is paid. The traitors are agreed. The king is set from London, and the scene is now transported, gentles, to Southampton. There is the playhouse now. There must you sit, and thence to France, where we convey you safe and bring you back, charming the narrow sea to give you gentle pass. For if we may, we'll not offend one stomach with our play. But till the king come forth, and not till then, unto Southampton do we shift our sea.
Well met, Corporal Nim!
Good morrow, Lieutenant Bardolph.
What, are ancient Pistol and you friends yet?
For my part, I care not. I say little, but when time shall serve, there shall be smiles. I dare not fight, but I will wink and hold out mine iron.
I will bestow a breakfast to make you friends, and we'll be all 3 sworn brothers to France. It is certain, Corporal, that he is married to now quickly, and certainly she did you wrong, for you were troth light to her.
I cannot tell. It must be as it may. Men may sleep, and they may have their throats about them at that time. And some say knives have edges. It must be as it may. Though patience be a tired mare, she will plod. There must be conclusions. Well, I cannot tell.
Here come ancient Pistol and his wife. Good Corporal, be patient here. How now, admired host, Pistol?
Base tight callest thou me, host. Now by this hand I swear I scorn the term, nor shall my Nell keep lodgers.
No, by my troth not long, for we cannot lodge and board 12 or 14 gentlewomen that live honestly by the prick of their needles, but it will be thought we keep a bawdy house straight. Oh! Well a day, lady. If he be not hewn now, we shall see willful adultery and murder committed.
Good Lieutenant, good Corporal, all for nothing here.
Pish!
Pish for thee, Iceland dog! Now prick your curve, Iceland!
Good Corporal Nim, show thy valor and put up your sword.
Will you shog off? I would have you soulless.
Soulless, egregious dog! Oh, viper vile! The solace in thy most marvelous face! The solace in thy teeth and in thy throat and in thy most hateful lungs!
If you grow foul with me, Pistol, I will scour you with my rapier, as I may a little in fair terms. If you would walk off, I would prick your guts a little in good terms, as I may, and that's the humor of it.
Oh, braggart, violent, damaged, furious wight, the grave doth gape and doubting death is near, therefore exhale!
Hear me, hear me! He that makes the first thrust, I'll kill him! By the sword, I am a soldier!
And oath of mickle might and fury shall abate. Give me thy fist, thy forfeit to me give! Thy spirits are most tall.
I will cut thy throat, one time or other, in fair terms.
I defy thee again! O hound of Crete, thinkest thou my spouse to get? No, to the spittle go, and from the powdering tub of infamy, fetch the lazar kite of Crescent's kind, doll tear-sheet she by name, and her a spouse.
I have, and I will hold the quantum quickly, for the only she, and
Pelka! There's enough too. Go to!
Come, shall I make you 2 friends again? We must have friends together. Why the devil should we keep knives to cut one another's throats?
Let floods o'erswell and fiends for food howl on.
I'll have the 8 shillings I won of you at betting.
Base is the slave that pays.
That now I will have, and that's the humor of it.
As manhood shall compound, push home!
By this sword, he that strikes the first stroke, kill him! By the sword I will!
A sword is an oath, and oaths must run their course.
Corporal Nim, and thou wilt be friends. Be friends. And thou wilt not. Be enemies with me too. Prithee, put up.
A noble shalt thou have, and present pay, and liquor likewise will I give to thee, and friendship shall combine in brotherhood. I'll live by Nim, and Nim will live by me. Is not this just? For I shall settler be unto the camp, and profits will accrue. Give me thy hand.
I will have my noble.
In cash, most justly paid.
Well, that's the humor of it.
For God, his grace is bold to trust these traitors.
You shall be apprehended by and by.
How smooth and even they do bear themselves, as if allegiance in their bosom sat, crowned in faith and constant loyalty.
The king hath note of all that they intend, by interception which they dream not of.
Nay, but the man that was his bedfellow, whom he hath dulled and cloyed with gracious favors, that he should for a foreign purse so sell his sovereign's life to death and treachery.
Now sits the wind fair, and we will aboard. My lord of Cambridge, my kind lord of Marshall, and you, my gentle knight, give me your thoughts. Think you not that the powers we bear with us will cut their passage through the force of France, doing the execution in the act for which we have in head assembled them?
No doubt, my liege, if each man do his best.
I doubt not that. Since we are all well persuaded, we carry not a heart with us from hence that grows not in a fair consent with ours.
Never was monarch better feared and loved than is your majesty. There's not, I think, a subject that sits in heart, grief, and uneasiness under the sweet shade of your government.
True, those that were your father's enemies have steeped their galls in honey, and do serve you with hearts create of duty and of zeal.
We therefore have great cause of thankfulness, and shall forget the office of our hand, sooner than quittance of desert and merit, according to the weight and worthiness.
So service shall with steeled sinews toil, and labor shall refresh itself with hope to do your grace incessant services.
We judge no less. Uncle of Exeter, will yet enlarge that man committed yesterday that railed against our person. We consider it was excess of wine that set him on, and through his more advice, we pardon him.
That's mercy, but too much security. Let him be punished, sovereign, lest example breed by his sufferance more of such a kind.
Let us yet be merciful.
So may your highness and yet punish too.
Sir, you show great mercy if you give him life after the taste of much correction.
Alas, your too much love and care of me are heavy orisons against this poor wretch. If little faults proceeding on distemper shall not be winked at, how shall we stretch our eye when capital crimes, chewed, swallowed, and digested, appear before us? We'll yet enlarge that man, though Cambridge, Scroop, and Grey, in their dear care and tender preservation of our person, would have him punished. Now, to our French causes. Who are the late commissioners?
I won, my lord. Your highness bade me ask for it today.
So did you mean, my liege?
And I, my royal sovereign.
Then Richard, Earl of Cambridge, there's yours. There, yours, Lord Scroop of Marshall. And Sir Knight Grey of Northumberland, this same is yours. Read them, and know. I know your worthiness. My Lord of Westmoreland, my Uncle Exeter, we will aboard tonight. Why, how now, gentlemen? What read you in those papers that you lose so much complexion? Look ye, how they change. Their cheeks are paper. Why, what read you there that hath so cowarded and chased your blood out of appearance?
I do confess my fault and do submit me to your highness' mercy.
To which we all appeal.
Mercy that was quick in us but late is by your own counsel suppressed and killed. You must not dare, for shame, to talk of mercy. See you, my princes and my noble peers, these English monsters. My lord of Cambridge, you know how apt our love was to accord to furnish him with all appurtenance belonging to his honor, and this man hath, for a few light crowns, lightly conspired unto the practices of France to kill us here in Hampton. To the which this knight, no less bound to us in bounty than Cambridge is, hath likewise sworn. But what shall I say to thee, Lord Scroop? Thou cruel, ungrateful, savage, and inhuman creature, thou that didst bear the key of all of my counsels. May it be possible that out of thee foreign hire could extract one spark of evil? Oh, how hast thou with jealousy infected the sweetness of affiance? Show men dutiful?
Why, so didst thou.
Seem they grave and learned?
Why, so didst thou.
Come they of noble family?
Why, so didst thou.
Seem they religious?
Why, so didst thou.
Or are they spared in diet, free from gross passion or of mirth or anger, constant in spirit, not swerving with the blood, garnished and decked in modest compliment, not working with the eye without the ear, but in purged judgment, trusting neither? Such and so finely bolted didst thou seem, and thus thy fall hath left a kind of blot to mark the full-fraught man best endued with some suspicion. I will weep for thee, for this revolt of thine, methinks is like another fall of man. Their faults are open. Arrest them to the answer of the law, and God acquit them of their practices.
I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Richard, Earl of Cambridge. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Henry, Lord Scroop of Masham. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Thomas Grey, Knight of Northumberland.
Our purposes God justly hath discovered, and I repent my fault more than my death, which I beseech your highness to forgive, though my body pay the price of it.
For me, the gold of France did not seduce, although I did admit it as a motive the sooner to effect what I intended. But God be thanked for prevention, which I in sufferance heartily will rejoice, beseeching God and you to pardon me.
Never did faithful subject more rejoice at the discovery of most dangerous treason than I do at this hour joy o'er myself, prevented from a damned enterprise. My fault, but not my body. Pardon, sovereign!
God quit you in his mercy. Hear your sentence. You have conspired against our royal person, joined with an enemy proclaimed, and from his coffers received the golden earnest of our death, wherein you would have sold your king to slaughter, his princes and his peers to servitude, his subjects and his people to contempt and oppression, and his whole kingdom into desolation. Touching our person seek we no revenge, but we our kingdom's safety must so tender that to her laws we do deliver you. Bear them hence. Now, lords, for France, we doubt not of a fair and lucky war, since God hath so graciously brought to light this dangerous treason lurking in our way. Cheerily to see the signs of war advance. No king of England, if not king of France.
Honey, sweet husband, let me bring thee a saint. No, for my manly heart does yearn. Bardolph, be blithe. Nym, rouse thy vaunting veins. Boy, bristle thy courage up.
Shall we shog? The king will be gone from Southampton.
Come, let's away. My love, give me thy lips. Look to my shadows and my movables. Let senses rule, the word is pitch and pay, trust none. For oaths are straws, men's faiths, wafer cakes, and hold fast is the only dog, my duck. Therefore, Vado be thy counselor. Go, clear thy crystals. Yoke fellows in arms like horse leeches, my boys. To suck the very blood to suck.
And that's but unwholesome food, they say.
Touch her soft mouth and march.
Farewell, hostess.
Alas, I cannot kiss, and that's the humor of it, but adieu.
Let housewife reappear. Keep close. I be command.
Farewell. Adieu.
Thus come the English with full power upon us, and more than carefully to us concerns to answer royally in our defences. Therefore the Dukes of Berry and of Brittany, of Brabant and of Orleans shall make forth.
And you, dear Catherine, with all swift dispatch to line and new repair our towns of war with men of courage, and with means defended. For England his approaches makes as fierce as waters to the sucking of a gulf.
My most redoubted mother, it is most meet we arm us against the foe. For peace itself should not so dull a kingdom, though war nor no known quarrel were in question, but that defences, musters, preparations should be maintained, assembled, and collected, as were war in expectation. Therefore I say, 'tis meet we all go forth, to view the sick and feeble parts of France, and let us do it with no show of fear, no, with no more than if we heard that England were busied with the Whitsun Morris dance. For, my good liege, she's so idly kinged, her sceptre so fantastically borne, by a vain, giddy, shallow, humorous youth, that fear attends her not.
Peace, good princess. You are too much mistaken in this king. Question your grace the late ambassadors with what great state he heard their embassy, how well supplied with noble counselors, how modest in exemption, and withal how terrible in constant resolution. And you shall find his vanity's force spent, where but the outside of the Roman Brutus, covering discretion with the coat of folly, as gardeners do with ordure hide those roots that shall first spring forth and be most delicate.
Well, 'tis not so, my lord high constable. But though we think it so, it is no matter. In cases of defense, 'tis best to weigh the enemy more mighty than he seems.
Think we King Harry's strong, and, princess, look you strongly armed to meet him. The kindred of him hath been fleshed upon us, and he is bred out of that bloody strain that haunted us in our familiar paths. Witness our too much memorable shame, when Cressy battle fatally was struck, and all our princes captive by the hand of that black name, Edward, Black Prince of Wales. This is the stem of that victorious stock, and let us fear the native mightiness and fate of him.
Ambassadors from Harry, King of England, do crave admittance to your majesty.
We will give them present audience. Go and bring them.
Good my sovereign, take up the English sword and let them know of what a monarch you are the head. Self-love, my liege, is not so vile a sin as self-neglecting.
From our brother of England?
From him, and thus he greets your majesty. He wills you, in the name of God Almighty, that you divest yourself and lay apart the borrowed glories that by gift of heaven, by law of nature and of nations, longs to him and to his heirs, namely the crown of France, and all wide-stretched honors that pertain by the custom and the ordinance of time unto the crown of France. That you may know, 'tis no sinister, nor no awkward claim picked from the wormholes of long-vanished days, nor from the dust of old oblivion raked. He sends you this most memorable line. In every branch truly demonstrative, willing you overlook this pedigree, and when you find him evenly derived from his most famed of famous ancestors, Edward the Third, he bids you then resign your crown and kingdom, indirectly held from him, the native and true challenger.
Or else what follows?
Bloody constraint. For if you hide the crown even in your hearts, there will he break for it. Therefore, in fierce tempest is he coming, in thunder and in earthquake, like a Jove that if requiring fail, he will compel, and bids you in the bowels of the Lord deliver up the crown, and to take mercy on the poor souls for whom this hungry war opens his vasty jaws. And on your head, turning the widow's tears, the orphan's cries, the dead man's blood, the private maiden's groans for husbands, fathers, and betrothed lovers, that shall be swallowed in this controversy. This is his claim. is threatening. And my message, unless the princess be in presence here, to whom expressly I bring greeting to.
For us, we will consider of this further. Tomorrow shall you bear our full intent back to our brother of England.
For the princess, I stand here for her. What to her from England?
Scorn and defiance, slight regard, contempt, and anything that may not misbecome the mighty sender doth he prize you at. Thus says my king, and if your father's highness do not in grant of all demands at large sweeten the bitter mock you sent his majesty, he'll call you to so hot an answer of it, that caves and woomy vaultages of France shall chide your trespass and return your mock in second accent of his ordinance.
Say, if my father render fair return, it is against my will, for I desire nothing but odds with England. To that end, as matching to his youth and vanity, I did present him with the tennis balls.
He'll make your Paris Louvre shake for it were at the mistress court of mighty Europe. And be assured, you'll find a difference as we his subjects have, between the promise of his greener days and these he masters now. Now he weighs time even to the utmost grain. That you shall read in your own losses if he stay here in France.
Tomorrow shall you know our mind at full.
Dispatch us with all speed, lest that our king come here himself to question our delay, for he is footed in this land already.
You shall be soon dispatched with fair conditions. A night is but small breath and little pause to answer matters of this consequence.
Thus, with imagined wing, our swift scene flies, in motion of no less celerity than that of thought. Suppose that you have seen the well-appointed king at Dover pier embark his royalty, the brave fleet with silken streamers, the young Phoebus fanning. Play with your fancies, and in them behold, upon the hempen tackle, shipboys climbing. Hear the shrill whistle, which doth order give to sound confused. Behold the threatened sail, borne by the invisible and creeping wind, draw the huge bottoms through the furrowed sea, breasting the lofty surge. Oh, do but think you stand upon the rivage, and behold a city on the inconstant billows dancing. For so appears this fleet majestical, holding due course to Harfleur. Follow, grapple your minds to the sternage of this navy, and leave your England as dead midnight still, guarded by grandsires, babies, and old women, either past or not yet arrived to pith and puissance. For who is he whose face is but enriched with one appearing hair that will not follow these culled and choice-drawn cavaliers to France? Work your thoughts, and therein see a siege. Behold the ordnance on their carriages, with fatal mouths gaping at girded Harfleur. Suppose the ambassador from the French comes back, tells Harry the king doth offer him Catherine, his daughter, and with her to dowry some petty and unprofitable dukedoms. The offer likes not, and the nimble gunner now with linstock the devilish cannon touches, and down goes all before them. Still, be kind, and eke out our performance with your mind.
Once more to the breach, dear friends, once more! We'll close the wall up with our English dead. In peace, there nothing so becomes a man like modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, that imitate the action of the tiger.
On to the breach, to the breach!
Lady, Corporal, stay! The knocks are too hot, and for mine own part, I have not a case of lives.
Knots go and come, God's vassals drop and die, and sword and shield and bloody field doth win immortal fame.
Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard favored rage. Now, set the teeth and stretch the nostrils wide. Hold hard the breath and bend up every spirit till his full height.
Would I were in an alehouse in London, I would give all my fame for a pound of ale and safety.
And I, if wishes would prevail with me, my purpose should not fail with me, and thither would I hide.
As duly but not as truly as a bird bouncing on bough.
On, you noblest English!
England!
Is fet from fathers of warproof. Fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts for more till even fought, and sheathed their swords for lack of argument.
Up to that breach, you dogs! Be merciful, great Duke! 2 men of mold! Good bot!
These be good humors, your honor wins bad humors!
Dishonor not your mothers, and you, good yeomen, whose limbs were made in England. Show us here the mettle of your pasture. The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge, cry God for Harry, England, and St. George.
As young as I am, I have observed these 3 swashers. I am boy to them all 3, but all they 3, though they would serve me, could not be man to me. For indeed 3 such antics do not amount to a man. For Bardolph, he is white-livered and red-faced, by the means whereof he faces it out, but fights not. For Pistol, he hath a killing tongue, and a quiet sword, by the means whereof he breaks words, but keeps whole weapons. For Nym, he hath heard that men of few words are the best men, and therefore he scorns to say his prayers, lest he should be thought a coward. But his few bad words are matched with as few good deeds, for he never broke any man's head but his own. And that was against a post when he was drunk. They will steal anything and call it purchase. Bardolph stole a loot case, bore it 12 leagues, and sold it for 3 halfpence. Bardolph and Nym are sworn brothers in filching, and in Calais they stole a fire shovel. I knew by that piece of service the men would carry coals. They would have me as familiar with men's pockets as their gloves or their handkerchiefs, which makes much against my manhood if I should take from another's pockets and put into my own, for it is plain pocketing up of wrongs. I must leave them and seek some better service. Their villainy goes against my weak stomach, and therefore I must cast it up.
How yet resolves the governor of the town. This is the latest parley we will admit. Therefore, to our best mercy, give yourselves. Or, like to men proud of destruction, defy us to our worst. For as I am a soldier, a name that in my mind becomes me best, if I begin the battery once again, I will not leave the half-achieved Harfler till in her ashes she lie buried.
The gates of mercy shall be all shut up, and the fleshed soldier, rough and hard of heart, in liberty of bloody hand, shall range with conscience wide as hell, mowing like grass your fresh fair virgins and flowering infants.
What is it then to me, if impious war, arrayed in flames like to the prince of fiends, do with his smirched complexion all fell feats, and like to waste and desolation?
What is to me that you yourselves are cause, if your pure maidens fall into the hand of hot and forcing violation?
What brain can hold licentious wickedness when down the hill he holds his fierce career?
Take pity of your town and of your people, whilst yet my soldiers are in my command.
Whilst yet the cool and temperate winds of grace, or blows the filthy and contagious clouds of heady murder, spoil and villainy.
If not, why, in a moment look to see the blind and bloody soldier with foul hand desire the locks of your shrill shrieking daughters, your fathers taken by the silver beards, and their most reverent heads dashed to the walls. Your naked infants spitted upon pikes, whilst the mad mothers with their howls confused do break the clowns. What say you? Will you yield and this avoid, or guilty in defense be thus destroyed?
Our expectation hath to stay an end. Our princess, whom of succors we entreated, returns us that her powers are yet not ready to raise so great a siege. Therefore, great king, we yield our town and lives to thy soft mercy. Enter our gates, dispose of us and ours, for we no longer are defensible.
Open your gates. Uncle of Exeter, go you and enter Harfler. Secure it strongly against the French. Use mercy to them all for us, dear uncle. With winter coming on and sickness growing, we will retire to Calais. Tonight in Harfler we will be your guest. Tomorrow for the march are we addressed.
certain he hath passed the river Somme.
And if he be not fought withal, my lord, let us not live in France. Let us quit all and give our vineyards over to a barbarous people.
Normans, but bastard Normans, Norman bastards! Mark them up, thee. If they march along unfought withal, but I will sell my dukedom to buy a slobbery and a dirty farm in that Nookshaw Isle of Albion.
Dieu de bataille! Where have they this metal? Is not their climate foggy, raw, and dull, on whom, as in despite, the sun looks pale, killing their fruit with frowns? Can sodden water, a drench for sir-rain jades, their barley broth, decoct their cold blood to such valiant heat? And shall our quick blood, spirited with wine, seem frosty? Oh, for the honor of our land, let us not hang like roping icicles upon a house's thatch, while some more frosty people sweat drops of gallant youth in our rich field. Poor, we may call them in their native lords.
By faith and honor, our madams mock at us and plainly say our metal is bred out, and they will give their bodies to the lust of English youth, to new store France with bastard warriors.
Where's Monjoie the herald? Speed him hence. Let him greet England with our sharp defiance. Up, princes, and with spirit of honor edged more sharper than your swords high to the fields. High dukes, great princes, barons, lords, and knights, for your great seats now quit you of great sames. Bar hairy England, who sweeps through our lands with pennants painted in the blood of Hafler. Go down upon him. You have power enough, and in a captive chariot into ruin bring him our prisoner.
This becomes the great. Sorry am I his numbers are so few, his soldiers sick and feeble in their march. For I am sure, when he shall see our army, he'll drop his heart into the sink of fear, and for achievement offer us his ransom.
Therefore, Lord Constable, haste on Monjoie. Let him say to England that we sent to know what willing ransom they will give. Good princess, you will stay with us in ruin.
Not so, I do beseech your majesty.
Patience, for you shall remain with us. Now forth, Lord Constable, and you princes all, and quickly bring us word of England's fall.
I assure you there is very excellent services committed at the bridge.
Is the Duke of Exeter safe?
The Duke of Exeter is as magnanimous as Agamemnon, and a man that I love and honor with my soul and my heart and my duty and my living and my life and my uttermost power. He is not, God be praised and blessed, any hurt in the world, but keeps the bridge most family with excellent discipline. There is an ancient lieutenant there at the bridge. I think in my very conscience he is as valiant a man as Mark Antony, and a man of no estimation in the world, but I did see him do as gallant service.
What do you call him?
His name is Ancient Pistol.
I know him not.
And here's the man.
Captain, I do beseech thee to do me favors. The Duke of Exeter doth love thee well.
Aye, praise God, and I merited some love at his hands.
Bardolph, a soldier firm and sound of heart, and of buxom valor hath, by cruel fate, and giddy fortune's furious fickle wheel, that goddess blind that stands upon
By your patience, Ancient Pistol, Fortune is painted blind with a muffler afore her eyes to signify to you that Fortune is blind. And she is also painted with a wheel to signify to you, which is the moral of it, that she is turning and inconstant, a mutability and variation, and her foot, look you, is fixed upon a spherical stone, which rolls and rolls and rolls. In good truth, the poet makes a most excellent description of it. Fortune is an excellent moral.
Fortune is Bardolph's foe and frowns upon him, for he hath stolen a pax and hanged he must be. The damned death! Like gallows gate for dog, let man go free, and let not hemp his windpipe suffocate. But the Duke of Exeter hath given him the doom of death, for packs of little price. Therefore go speak. The Duke will hear thy voice, and let not Bardolph's vital thread be cut by edge of pennycord and vile reproach. Speak to him, captain, for his life, and I will be requite.
Ancient Pistol, I do partially understand your meaning.
I then rejoice therefore.
Certainly, Ancient, it is not a thing to be rejoiced at, for if, look you, he were my brother, I would desire the Duke to use his good pleasure and put him to execution, for discipline ought to be used.
Die and be damned, and thank you for thy friendship!
It is well.
Think of Spain!
Very good.
Why, this is an errant, counterfeit rascal. I know the man, a bawd, a cut purse.
I assure you, he uttered as brave words at the bridge as you shall see in a summer's day. But it is very well. What he has spoke to me, that is well too, I warrant you, when time is served.
Why, 'tis a gull, a fool, a rogue that now and then goes off to the wars to grace himself at his return into London under the form of a soldier. And such fellows are perfect in their great commanders' names, and they will learn you by rote where services were done at such and such a sconce, at such a breach, at such a convoy, who came off bravely, who was shot, who was disgraced, what terms the enemy stood on. And all this they con perfectly in the phrase of war, which they trick up with new-tuned oaths. And what a beard of the general's cut, and what a horrid suit of the camp will do among foaming bottles and ale-washed wits is wonderful to be thought on. But you must learn to know such slanders of this age, else you may be marvelously mistook.
I tell you what, Captain Gower, I do perceive he is not the man he would glad make show the world he is. If I find a hole in his coat, I will tell him my mind. But hark you, the king is coming in. I must speak with him from the bridge. God bless your majesty.
How now, Fluon? Camest thou from the bridge?
Aye, so please your majesty. The Duke of Exeter has very valiantly maintained the bridge. The French has gone off, look you, and there is most gallant and brave passages. Mary, the adversary, was have possession of the bridge, but he is enforced to retire, and the Duke of Exeter is master of the bridge. I can tell your majesty, the Duke is a brave man.
What men have you lost, Fluon?
The perdition of the adversary hath been very great, reasonable great. Mary, for my part, I think the Duke hath lost never a man, but one that is like to be executed for robbing a church, one Bardolph, if your majesty know the man.
We would have all such offenders so cut off. And we give express charge that in our marches through the country there be nothing compelled from the villages, nothing taken but paid for, none of the French upbraided or abused in disdainful language. For when lenity and cruelty play for a kingdom, the gentler gamester is the soonest winner.
'Tis midnight, I'll go arm myself. The princess longs for morning.
She longs to eat the English.
I think she will eat all she kills.
I know her to be valiant.
I was told that by one who knows her better than you.
Pray who?
Mary, she told me so herself. She said she cared not who knew it.
She needs not, it's no hidden virtue in her.
By my faith, sir, but it is. Never anybody saw it but our lackey. 'Tis a hooded valor, and when it appears it will bait.
Ill will never said well.
I will cap that proverb with there is flattery in friendship.
And I'll take that up with give the devil his due.
Well placed. There stands your friend for the devil. Have at the very eye of that proverb with a pox on the devil.
You are the better at proverbs. By how much? A fool's bolt is soon shot.
You have shot over.
'Tis not the first time you are shot.
You know me by my habit.
Well, I know thee. What shall I know of thee?
My master's mind.
Unfold it.
Thus says my king. Say thou to Harry of England, though we seemed dead, we did but sleep. Advantage is a better soldier than rashness. Tell him we could have rebuked him at Harfleur, but that we thought not good to bruise an injury till it were full ripe. Now we speak upon our cue, and our voice is imperial. England shall repent his folly, see his weakness, and admire our sufferance. Bid him therefore consider of his ransom, which must proportion the losses we have borne, the subjects we have lost, the disgrace we have digested, which, in wait to re-answer, his pettiness would bow under. For our losses, his exchequer is too poor. For the effusion of our blood, the muster of his kingdom too faint a number. And for our disgrace, his own person kneeling at our feet but in weak and worthless satisfaction. To this, add defiance, and tell him for conclusion He hath betrayed his followers, whose condemnation is pronounced. So far my king and master, so much my office.
What is thy name? I know thy quality.
Montjoie.
Thou dost thy office fairly. Turn thee back. Tell thy king I do not seek him now, but could be willing to march on to Calais without impeachment. For, to say the sooth, though 'tis no wisdom to confess as much unto an enemy of craft and vantage. My people are with sickness, much enfeebled. My numbers lessened, and those few I have, almost no better than so many French, who, when they were in health, I tell thee, Harold, I thought upon one pair of English legs did march 3 Frenchmen. Yet forgive me, God, that I do brag thus. This, your heir of France, hath blown that vice in me. I must repent. Go, tell thy master, here I am. My ransom is this frail and worthless trunk, my army but a weak and sickly guard, but God before. We will come on through France himself, though such another neighbor stand in our way. There's for thy labor, Montjoie. Go, bid thy master well advise himself. If we may pass, we will. If we be hindered, we shall your tawny ground with your red blood discolor. And so, fare you well, Montjoie. The sum of all of our answers is but this. We do not seek a battle as we are, nor as we are we say we will not shun it. So tell thy master.
I shall deliver so. Thanks to your highness.
I hope they will not come upon us now.
We are in God's hands now, brother, not in theirs. Go. March to the bridge. It now draws towards night. Beyond the river we'll encamp ourselves, and tomorrow we will bid them march away.
Tut, I have the best armor of the world. Would it were morning.
You have an excellent armor, but let my horse have his
It's
due.
the best horse of Europe.
Will it never be morning?
My lord of Orleans and my lord high constable, you talk of horse and armor?
You are as well provided of both as any prince in the world.
What a long night is this.
My lord constable, the armor that I saw in your tent tonight, are those stars or suns upon it?
Stars, my lord.
Some of them will fall tomorrow, I hope.
And yet my sky shall not want.
That may be, for you bear many superfluously, and twere more honor some were away.
Even as your horse bears your praises, who would trot as well were some of your brags dismounted?
Would I were able to load him with his desert. Will it never be day? I'll trot tomorrow a mile, and my way shall be paved with English faces.
I will not say so, for fear I should be faced out of my way. But I wouldn't in the morning, for I would fain be about the ears of the English.
Who will go to hazard with me for 20 prisoners?
You must first yourself go to hazard ere you have them.
My lord high constable, the English lie within 1,500 paces of your tents.
Who hath measured the ground?
The Lord Grand Pré.
A valiant and most expert gentleman. Would it were day! Alas, poor Harry of England, he longs not for the dawning as we do.
What a wretched and peevish fellow is this King of England, to mope with his fat-brained followers so far out of his knowledge.
If the English had any apprehension, they would run away.
That they lack, for if their heads had an intellectual armor, they could never wear such heavy headpieces.
That island of England breeds very valiant creatures. Their mastiffs are of unmatchable courage.
Foolish curs that on winking into the mouth of a Russian bear have their heads crushed like rotten apples. You may as well say that's a valiant flea that dare eat his breakfast on the lip of a lion.
Just. And the men do sympathize with the mastiffs in robustious and rough coming on, leaving their wits with their wives, and then give them great meals of beef and iron and steel. They will eat like wolves and fight like devils.
Aye, but these English are shrewdly out of beef.
And shall we find tomorrow they have only stomachs to eat and none to fight? Now, is it time to arm? Come, shall we about it?
It is now 2 o'clock, but let me see, by 10 we shall have each 100 Englishmen.
Now entertain conjecture of a time when creeping murmur and the pouring dark fills the wide vessel of the universe. From camp to camp, through the foul womb of night, the hum of either army stilly sounds, that the fixed sentinels might almost receive the secret whispers of each other's watch. Fire answers fire, and through their paly flames each battle sees the other's umbered face. Steed threatens steed with high and boastful neighs, piercing the knight's dull ear, and from the tents, the armorers, accomplishing the knights, with busy hammers closing rivets up, give dreadful note of preparation. The country cocks do crow, the clocks do toll, and the third hour of drowsy morning named, proud of their number and secure in soul, the confident and overlusty French do the low-rated English play at dice, and chide the cripple, tardy-gated knight, who like a foul and ugly witch doth limp so tediously away. The poor, condemned English, like sacrifices, by their watchful fires sit patiently and inly ruminate the morning's danger, and their gesture sad, investing lank lean cheeks and war-worn coats, presenteth unto the gazing moon so many horrid ghosts. Oh, now who will behold the royal captain of this ruined band? Let him cry, praise and glory on his head, for forth he goes and visits all his host, bids them good morrow with a modest smile, and calls them brothers, friends, and countrymen. Upon his royal face there is no note how dread an army hath enrounded him, nor doth he dedicate one jot of colour unto the weary and all-watched night, but freshly looks, and overbears a taint with cheerful semblance and sweet majesty, that every wretch, pining and pale before, beholding him, plucks comfort from his looks. A largesse universal, like the sun, his liberal eye doth give to every one, thawing cold fear that mean and gentle all behold, as may unworthiness define a little touch of Harry in the night. And so our scene must to the battle fly, where, oh, for pity, we shall much disgrace with 4 or 5 most vile and ragged foils, right ill disposed in brawl ridiculous, the name of Agincourt. Yet sit and see, minding true things by what their mockeries may be.
King Lavat!
A friend.
Discuss unto me, art thou officer or art thou base, common, and popular?
I am a gentleman of a company.
Trailst thou the puissant pike?
Even so. What are you?
A gentleman as good as the emperor.
Ha! Then you are better than the king.
The king's a bawcock. And a laughing life, and imp of fame, of parents good and of this most valiant. I kiss his dirty Jew. And from thy heartstring I love the lovely bully. What is thy name?
Harry Leroy.
Leroy? A Cornish name. Art thou of Cornish crew?
No, I'm a Welshman.
Knowest thou Fluellen?
Yes.
Tell him I'll knock his league about as paid upon St. Davy's Day.
Do not wear your dagger in your cap that day, lest he knock that about yours.
Art thou his friend?
And his kinsman.
The fight go for thee then!
Well, I thank you. God be with you.
My name is Pistol Called.
It suits well with your fierceness.
Brother John Bates, is not that the morning which breaks yonder?
I think it be, but we have no great cause to desire the approach of day.
We see yonder the beginning of the day, but I think we shall never see the end of it. Who goes there?
A friend.
Under what captain serve you?
Under Sir Thomas Erpingham.
A good old commander and a most kind gentleman. I pray you. What thinks he of our state?
Even as men racked upon the sea that look to be washed off with the next tide.
He hath not told his thoughts to the king?
No, nor does not meet he should, for though I speak it to you, I think the king is but a man as I am. The violet smells to him as it doth to me. The element shows itself to him as it doth to me. All his senses are but human conditions.
His nakedness. His ceremonies laid by, in his nakedness he appears but a man. Though his affections are higher mounted than ours, when they stoop with the light wing. Therefore, when he has reason of fears, his fears, out of doubt, be of the same relish as ours.
Yet In reason, no man should possess himself with fear, lest he by showing it should dishearten his army.
He may show what outward courage he will, but I think as night a cold as 'tis, he could wish himself in Thames up to the neck. And so I would he were, and I by him at all adventures, so we were quit here.
By my troth, I will speak my conscience of the king. I think he would not wish himself anywhere but where he is.
Then I would he were here alone, so should he be sure to be ransomed, and many poor men's lives saved.
I dare say you love him not so ill to wish him here alone. Howsoever you speak this to feel other men's minds. Methinks I could not die anywhere so contented as in the king's company, his cause being just, and his quarrel honorable.
That's more than we know.
Aye, or more than we should seek after, for we know enough if we know we are the king's subjects. If his cause be wrong, our obedience to the king wipes the crime of it out of us.
Or if the cause be not good, then the king himself have heavy reckoning to make of it. With all those legs and arms and heads chopped off in a battle, joined together at the latter day, and cry all, we die in such a place. Some swearing, some crying for a surgeon, some upon their wives left poor behind, some upon the debts they owe, some upon their children rawly left. I am afeared. There are few die well that die in a battle. For how can they charitably dispose of anything when blood is their argument? Now, if these men do not die well, it will be a black matter for the king that led them to it, who, to disobey, were against all proportion of subjection.
So, if a son that is by his father sent about some merchandise do sinfully miscarry upon the sea, the imputation of his wickedness by your rule should be imposed upon the father that sent it. But this is not so. The king is not bound to answer the particular endings of his soldiers, nor the father of his son, for they purpose not their death when they purpose their services. Besides, there is no king, be his cause never so spotless, that if it come to the arbitrament of swords, can have it out with all unspotted soldiers. Some, peradventure, have upon them the guilt of premeditated and contrived murder. Some of beguiling virgins with the broken seals of perjury. Some, making the wars their bulwark, have before gored the gentle bosom of peace with pillage and robbery. Now, if these men have outrun native punishment, though they can outstrip men, they have no wings to fly from God. War is his beetle. War is his vengeance. So that here, men are punished for before breach of the king's law and now the king's quarrel. So, if they die unprovided, no more is the king guilty of their damnation than he was before guilty of the impieties for the which they are now visited. Every subject's duty is the king's, but every subject's soul is his own. Then should every soldier in the war do as every sick man in his bed, wash every mote of his conscience. And in dying, death is to him an advantage. Or in not dying, the time was blessedly lost, wherein such preparation was gained. And in those that escape, it were not sin to think that, making God so free an offer, he let him outlive that day to see his greatness, and to teach others how they should prepare.
Aye, 'tis true. Every man that dies ill, the ill upon his own head. The king is not to answer for it.
I do not desire him to answer for me, yet I determined to fight lustily for him.
I myself heard the king say he would not be ransomed.
He said so to make us fight cheerfully. But when our throats are cut, he may be ransomed and we never the wiser.
If I live to see it, I'll not trust his word after.
You pay him then. That's a perilous shot out of an elder gun that a poor and private displeasure can do against a monarch. You might as well go to turn the sun to ice with fanning it in its face with a peacock's feather. You'll never trust his word thereafter. Come, 'tis a foolish saying.
Your reproof is something too round. I should be angry with you if time were convenient.
Let it be a quarrel between us then, if you live.
I embrace it.
How shall I know thee again?
Give me any gage of thine, and I will wear it in my bonnet. Then, if ever thou darest acknowledge it, I will make it my quarrel.
Here's my glove. Give me another of thine.
There.
This will I also wear in my cap. If ever thou come to me and say, after tomorrow, this is my glove, by this hand I'll make thee a box on the ear.
If I live to see it, I'll challenge it.
Thou darest well be hanged.
Well, I will do it, though I take thee in the king's company.
Keep thy word. Fare you well. battle.
Be friends, you English fools, be friends. We have French quarrels enough. We tell how to reckon.
Indeed. The French may lay 20 French crowns that they will beat us, for they wear them on their shoulders. But it is no English treason to cut French shoulders, and tomorrow the king himself will be a clipper. Upon the king. Let us, our lives, our souls, our debts, our careful wives, our children, and our sins lay on the king. We must bear all. Heart condition, twin born with greatness, subject to the breath of every fool whose sense no more can feel but his own ringing. Oh, what infinite heart's ease must kings neglect that private men enjoy? And what have kings that privates have not too, save ceremony, save general ceremony?
And what art thou idle ceremony? What kind of god art thou that suffers more of mortal griefs than do thy worshippers? What are thy rents? What are thy comings in? Oh, ceremony, show me but thy worth. What is thy soul of adoration? Art thou at else but place, degree, and form, creating awe and fear in other men, wherein thou art less happy being feared than they in fearing? What drink'st thou oft instead of homage sweet, but poison flattery? Oh, be sick, great greatness, and bid thy ceremony give thee cure.
Thinkest thou the fiery fever will go out with titles blown from adulation? Will it give place to flexure and low bending? Canst thou, when thou commandst the beggar's knee, command the health of it?
No. Thou proud dream, that plays so subtly with the king's repose. I am a king that find thee, and I know 'tis not the balm, the scepter, and the ball.
The sword.
The mace.
Crown imperial.
The intertissued robe of gold and pearl.
The fostered title running for the king.
The throne he sits on.
Nor the tide of pomp that beats upon the high shore of this world.
No. Not all of these thrice gorgeous ceremony. Not all of these laid in bed majestical can sleep so soundly as the wretched slave. Never sees the horrid night, the child of hell, but like a lackey, from rise to set, sweats in the eye of Phoebus, and all night sleeps in Elysium. Next day after dawn doth rise and help Hyperion to his horse, and follows so the ever-running year with profitable labor to his grave.
My lord, the nobles, jealous of your absence, seek through your camp to find you.
Good old knight, collect them all before my tent. I'll be before thee.
I shall do it, my lord.
O God of battles, steel my soldiers' hearts. Possess them not with fear. Take from them the sense of reckoning of the opposed numbers. Pluck their hearts from them. Not today. Oh, not today, Lord. Think not upon the fault my father made encompassing the crown. I, Richard's body, have interred new, and on it have bestowed more contrite tears than issued from it forced drops of blood. 500 poor I have in yearly pay, who twice a day their withered hands hold up towards heaven to pardon blood. And I have built 2 chantries, where the sad and solemn priests still sing for Richard's soul. More will I do, though nothing I can do is nothing worth, since my penitence comes after all, imploring pardon.
My liege.
My brother Gloucester's voice. I know where they are. I'll go with thee. The day, my friends, and all things stay for me.
The sun doth gild our armor. Up, my lord! Montez à cheval. My horse, my lackey! Oh, brave spirit! Il is always here.
Bien puis, let her
See, oh, cousin Orleans. Now, my lord constable.
Park how our steeds for present service nay.
Mount them and make incision in their hides, that their hot blood may spin in English eyes, and doubt them with superfluous courage.
What, will we have them weep our horses' blood? How shall we then behold their natural tears?
The English are embattled, you French pairs. To horse, you gallant princes, straight to horse. Do but behold yon poor and starved band, and your fair show shall suck away their souls, leaving them but the shales and husks of men. There is not work enough for all our hands. Scarce blood enough in all their sickly veins to give each naked colonel act a stain, that our French gallants shall to age are out in sheath for lack of sport. Let us but blow on them, the vapor of our valor will o'erturn them.
Why do you stay so long, my lords of France? Yond island carrions, desperate of their bones, ill-favoredly become the morning fields. Their ragged curtains poorly are let loose, and our air shakes them passing scornfully. Big Ma seems bankrupt in their beggared hosts, and faintly through a rusty beaver peeps. Their horsemen sit like fixed candlesticks with torch staves in their hands, and their poor jades lod down their heads, drooping the hides and hips, and the gum down roping in their pale, dead eyes, and in their pale, dull mouths a gentle bit lies foul, still and motionless. And their executors, the knavish crows fly over them, impatient for their hour. Description cannot suit itself in words to demonstrate the life of such a battle, and life so lifeless as it shows itself.
They have said their prayers, and they stay for death.
Shall we go send them dinners and fresh suits, and give their fasting horses provender, and after fight with them?
I stay but for my guard. On, to the field. I will the banner from a trumpet take, and use it for my haste. Come away. The sun is high, and we have to wear the day.
Where is the king?
The king himself is rode to view their battle.
Of fighting men they have full 70,000.
There's 5 to 1, besides they're all fresh.
God's arms strike with us, 'tis a fearful odd. God be with you, princes all to my charge. And if we no more meet till we meet in heaven, then my noble Lord of Bedford, my dear Lord Gloucester, and my good Lord Exeter, my kind kinsmen and warriors all, adieu.
Farewell, good Salisbury, and good luck go with thee. And yet I do thee wrong to mind thee of it, for thou art framed in the firm truth of valor.
Farewell, kind lord. Fight valiantly today.
He is as full of valor as of kindness, princely in both.
Oh, if we had but 10,000 of those men in England that do not work today.
What's he that wishes so? My cousin, Westmoreland? No, my fair cousin. If we are marked to die, we are renowned to do our country loss. And if to live, the fewer the men, the greater the share of honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who doth feed upon my cost. It yearns me not if men my garments wear. Such outward things dwell not in my desires. But if it be a sin to covet honor, then I am the most offending soul alive. God's peace. I would not lose so great an honor as one man more, methinks, would share from me, for the best hope I have. Oh, do not wish one more. Rather, proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart. His passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispian.
He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand on tiptoe when this day is named, and rouse him in the name of Crispin. He that sees this day and lives old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is St. Crispin. Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars. Old men forget, yet all may be forgot, but he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day.
Then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry, the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world. But we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers, for he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whilst any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's day.
My sovereign lord, bestow yourself with speed. The French are bravely in their battle set, and will with all expedients charge on us.
All things are ready if our minds be so.
Here's the man whose mind is backwards now.
Thou dost not wish for more help from England, cuz?
God's will, my liege, that you and I alone without more help could fight this royal battle.
Why, now thou hast unwished 5,000 men, which likes me better than to wish for one. You know your places. God be with you all.
Once more I come to know of thee, King Harry. If for thy ransom thou wilt now compound before thy most assured overthrow. For certainly thou art so near the gulf thou needs must be unglutted. Besides, in mercy, the constable desires thee thou wilt mind thy followers of repentance, that their souls may make a peaceful and a sweet retire from off these fields where wretches, their poor bodies must lie and fester.
Who hath sent thee now?
The constable of France.
I pray thee, bear my former answer back. Bid them achieve me, and then sell my bones. Let me speak proudly. Tell the constable we are but warriors for the working day. Our gayness and our guilt are all besmirched with rainy marching in the painful field. There's not a piece of feather in our host. Good argument, I hope, we will not fly. And time hath worn us into slavery, but by the mass, our hearts are in the trim. And my poor soldiers tell me, yet ere night, they'll be in fresher robes, or they'll pluck the gay new coats or the French soldiers' heads and turn them out of service. If they do this, as if God please, they shall, my ransom then will soon be levied. Harold, save thou thy labor. Comest thou no more for ransom? They shall have none. I swear, but these my joints, which if I have as I will leave them, shall yield them little. So tell the constable.
I shall, King Harry, and so fare thee well. Thou never shalt hear Harold any more.
I fear thou will once more come again for ransom.
Oh, je me supplie pour l'amour de Dieu, me pardonner. Je suis le gentilhomme de vos maisons. Garde Marie, je vous donnerai 200 écus.
What are his words?
He prays you to save his life. He's a gentleman of a good house, and for his ransom he will give you 200 crowns.
Tell him Fury shall obey nigh the crowns will take.
Petit monsieur, que dit-il?
Encore qu'il est contre son jugement, de pardonner un coup prisionnaire. Mais-moi, pour le coup que vous lui avez promis, il est content de vous donner la liberté et le franchissement.
Oh, sur mes genoux, je vous donne 1000 remerciements. Je me suis heureux que j'ai tombé entre les mains de chevalier, je pense, le plus brave valiant, très distinct seigneur d'Angleterre.
Expound unto me, boy.
He gives you upon his knees 1,000 thanks, and esteems himself happy that he hath fallen into the hands of one, as he thinks, the most brave, valorous, and thrice worthy seigneur in all of England.
As I suck blood, I will some mercy show.
Sweden, the grand head. Never did know so full a voice issue from so empty a heart. But the saying is true. The empty vessel makes the greatest sound. Bardolph and Nym had 10 times more valor than this roaring devil in the old play, where everyone may pare his nails with a wooden dagger. And they are both hanged. And so would this be if he durst steal anything adventurously. I must stay with the lackeys, with the luggage of our camp. The French might have a good prey of us if you knew of it, but there's none to guard it but boys.
Oh, diable!
Oh, Senor, les jouets perdus, tout est perdu.
Worthy Marie, all is confounded. All. Reproach and everlasting shame sits mocking in our plumes. O my old fortune, do not run away.
What? All our ranks are broke.
Oh, pardonable shame. Let's stab ourselves. Be these the wretches that we played at dice for? Is this the king we sent to for his ransom?
Shame, an eternal shame, nothing but shame. Let us die. In once more, back again. And he that will not follow closely now, let him go hence, and with his cap in hand, like a base painter, hold the chamber door, whilst by a slave, no gentler than my dog, his fairest daughter, is contaminated.
Disorder that has spoiled us. Friend us now. Let us on heaps go offer up our lives.
We are enough yet living in the fields to smother up the English in our throngs, if any order might be thought upon.
The devil take order now. All to the throng. Let life be short, else shame will be too long.
Well have we done, thrice valiant countrymen, but all's not done yet. Keep the French the field.
The Duke of York commends him to your majesty.
Lives he, good uncle? Thrice within this hour I saw him down, thrice up again fighting. From helmet to spur all blood he was.
In which array, brave soldier, doth he lie, guarding the plain, and by his bloody side, yoke fellow to his honor-owing wounds, the noble Earl of Suffolk also lies. Suffolk first died, and York, all haggled over, comes to him where in gore he lay and steeped, and takes him by the beard, kisses the gashes that bloodily did yawn upon his face. He cries aloud, "Tarry, my cousin Suffolk, my soul shall thine keep company to heaven. Tarry, sweet soul, for mine! Then fly abreast as in this glorious and hell-foughten field we kept together in our chivalry." Upon these words I came and cheered him up. He smiled me in the face, brought me his hand, and with a feeble grip says, "Dear my lord, commend my service to my sovereign." And so did he turn and over Suffolk's neck, through his wounded arm, and kissed his lips. So spoused to death, with blood thus sealed a testament of noble ending love. The pretty and sweet manner of it forced those waters from me, which I would have stopped, but I had not so much of man in me. And all my mother came into mine eyes, and gave me up to tears.
I blame you not. And hearing this, I must perforce compound with my full eyes, or they will issue too. But hark, what new alarm is the same? The French have reinforced their scattered men, and every soldier kill his prisoners. Send the word through. I was not angry since I came to France until this instant. Take a trumpet, herald. Ride thou into the horsemen on yon hill. If they will fight with us, bid them come down, or void the field. They do offend our sight. If they'll do neither, then we will come to them and make them scur away as swift as stones, enforce it from the old Assyrian slings. And besides, we'll cut the throats of those we have, and not a man of them among us shall taste our mercy. Go and tell them so.
Here comes the herald from the French, my liege.
His eyes are humbler than they used to be.
What means this, herald? Knowest thou that I find these bones of mine for ransom? Comest thou again for ransom?
No, great king. I come to thee for charitable license, that we may wander o'er this bloody field to book our dead and then to bury them, to sort our nobles from our common men, for many of our princes, all the while, lay drowned and soaked in mercenary blood. So do our vulgar drench their peasant limbs in blood of princes, and the wounded steeds spread fetlock deep in gore, and with wild rage yerk out their armed heels at their dead masters, killing them twice. Oh, give us leave, great king, to view the field in safety and dispose of their dead bodies.
Tell thee truly, herald, I know not if the day be ours or no, for many of your horsemen leap and gallop o'er the field.
The day is yours.
Praise be God, and not our strength for it. What is the name of this castle called that stands hard by?
They call it Agincourt.
Then call we this the field of Agincourt, fought on the day of Crispin Crispianus. Our heralds, go with him. Bring us just notice of the numbers dead on both our parts. Here, Fluella. Wear thou this favor for me, and stick it in thy cap. When Alanson and myself were down, I
pluck this glove from his helmet. If any acknowledge it, he's a friend to Alençon and an enemy to our person. If ever thou encounter any such, apprehend him, and thou dost me love.
Your grace does me as great honors as can be desired in the hearts of his subjects. I would fain see the man that has but 2 legs that would be aggrieved at this glove. But I would fain see it once and praise God of his grace that I might see.
Knowest thou Gower?
He is my dear friend, please you.
I pray thee, go seek him and bring him to my tent.
I will fetch him.
Good cousin Bedford, follow Fluellen closely at the heels. The glove which I have given him for a favor may happily purchase him a box o'er the year. It is the soldier's, I by bargain should wear it myself. If that the soldier strike him, as I judge by his blunt bearing he shall, some sudden mischief may arise of it. Follow and see there be no harm between them. Go you with me, Uncle Exeter.
Sir, know you this glove?
No, the glove. I know that the glove is a glove.
I know this, and thus I challenge it.
An errant villain as any in the universal world, or in England, or in France.
How now, sir? You villain!
Do you think I'll be forsworn?
Stand away, Captain Gower. I will give treason his payment into blows. I warrant you.
I am no traitor.
That's a lie in thy throat. I charge you in his majesty's name, apprehend him. He is a friend to the Duke Alençon. There comes his majesty.
How now? What's the matter?
My liege, here is a villain and a traitor that, look, your majesty, has struck the glove that your grace has plucked out of the helmet of Alençon.
My lord, this was my glove.
Give me thy glove, soldier. Look, here's the fellow to it. 'Twas I, indeed, thou promised to strike, and thou hast given me most bitter terms. How couldst thou make me satisfaction?
All offenses, my lord, came from the heart. Never came any from mine that might offend your majesty.
Uncle Exeter, fill this glove with crowns and give it to this fellow. Wear it, fellow, for an honor in my cap. Give him the crowns. And captain, thou must needs be friends with him.
By this day and this light, the fellow has metal enough in his belly.
Now, Harold, are the dead numbered?
Here is the number of the slaughtered French.
What prisoners of good sort are taken, Uncle?
Charles, Duke of Orleans, nephew to the king, John, Duke of Bourbon, and Lord Boucicaut. Of other lords and barons, knights and squires, full 1,500, besides common men.
This note doth tell me of 10,000 French that in the field lie slain. Of princes in this number, and nobles bearing banners, there lie dead 126. Added to these of knights, esquires, and gallant gentlemen, 8,400, of the which 500 were but yesterday dubbed knights. So that in these 10,000 that they have lost, there are but 1,600 mercenaries. The rest are princes, barons, knights, lords, squires, and gentlemen of blood and quality. The names of their nobles that lie dead: Charles de la Breth, High Constable of France; Jacques of Chantillon, Admiral of France; the Master of the Crossbows, Lord Rambier; Grandpré and Roussy, Falconbridge and Foix, Beaumont and Marle, Vaudemont and Lestrade. Here was a royal fellowship of death. Where's the number of our English dead? Edward, the Duke of York; the Earl of Suffolk, Sir Richard Ketley; Davy Cam, Esquire; none else of name, and of all other men but 25. Oh God, my arm was here, and to thy arm and not our strength ascribe we all. When without stratagem and in even play and fair play of battle was ever known so great and little loss on one part and on the other? Take it, God, for it is none but thine.
'Tis wonderful.
Come, go we in procession to the village.
Is it not lawful, and so please your majesty, to tell how many is killed?
Yes, Captain, but with this acknowledgement, that God fought for us.
Yes, my conscience. He did us great good.
Do we all holy rites? Let there be sung non nobis and Te Deum, the dead in charity enclosed in clay. And on to Calais, and to England then, where ne'er from France arrived more happy men.
Vouchsafe to those that have not read the story, that I may prompt them. And of such as have, I humbly pray to admit the excuse of time, of numbers, and of the due course of things which cannot in their huge and proper life be here presented. Now we bear the king toward Calais. Grant him there. There seen, heave him away upon your winged thoughts athwart the sea. Behold how the English beach pales in the flood, with men, wives, and boys, whose shouts and claps outvoice the deep-mouthed sea, which like a mighty whiffler for the king seems to prepare his way. So let him land, and solemnly see him set on to London. So swift a pace as hath thought that even now you may imagine him upon Blackheath, where that his lords desire him to have borne his bruised helmet and bended sword before him through the city. He forbids it, being free from vainness and self-glorious pride, giving full trophy, signal, and ostent, quite from himself, to God. But now behold, in the quick forge and working house of thought, how London doth pour out her citizens, the mayor and all his brethren, in best sort, like to the senators of the antique Rome, with plebeians swarming at their heels, go forth and fetch their conquering Caesar in, as, by lower but by loving likelihood, were now the general of our gracious empress, as in good time he may, from Ireland coming, bringing rebellion broached on his sword. How many would the peaceful city quit to welcome him? Much more, and much more cause did they this harry. Now we see the king in London. As yet the lamentation of the French invites the king of England's stay at home. The emperor is coming in behalf of France, to order peace between them. And amidst all occurrences, whatever chanced, till Harry's back return again to France. There must we bring him, and myself have played the interim by remembering you 'tis past. Then brook abridgment, and your eyes advance. After your thoughts, straight back again to France.
Peace to this meeting wherefore we are met, and to our brother France and our sister. Health and fair time of day to our fair and most princely cousin Catherine. And as a branch and member of this royalty, by which this great assembly is contrived, we do salute you, Duke of Burgundy, and princes French and peers. Health to you all.
Right joyous are we to behold your face, most worthy brother of England, fairly met, and you, princes English, every one.
So happy be the issue, brother England, of this good day and of our gracious meeting, as we are now glad to behold your eyes which hitherto have borne in them against the French that met them in their bed the fatal balls of murdering basilisks. The venom of such looks we fairly hope has lost its quality, and that this day may change all griefs and quarrels into love.
To cry amen to that, and thus we appear.
You English princes all, we do salute you.
My duty to you both on equal love, great kings of France and England, that I have labored with all my wits, my pains, and strong endeavors to bring your most imperial majesties unto this bar and royal interview, that I may know the let why gentle peace should not expel all inconveniences and bless us with her former qualities.
My Duke of Burgundy, you must buy that peace with full accord, that you have been scheduled briefly in your hands.
The king hath heard them, to the which as yet there is no answer made.
then the peace which you before so urged lies in his answer.
I have but with a cursory eye or glance the articles. Please this your grace to appoint some of your council to sit with us once more with better heed to resurvey them. We will pass our accept and peremptory answer.
Brother, we shall. And you, sister? Will you go with your princes or stay here with us?
Gracious brother, I will go with them. Haply a woman's voice may do some good when articles too nicely urged be stood on.
And leave our cousin Catherine here with us. She is our capital demand, comprised within the 4 ranks of our articles.
She hath good leave.
Fair Catherine, and most fair, will you vouchsafe to teach a soldier terms such as will enter at a lady's ear and plead his love suit to her gentle heart?
Your Majesty should mock at me. I cannot speak your England.
Oh, fair Catherine, if you will love me soundly with your French heart, I will gladly hear you confess it brokenly with your English tongue. Do you like me, Kate?
Pardonnez-moi, I cannot tell what is like me.
An angel is like you, Kate, and you are like an angel.
Oh, bon Dieu, les langues des hommes sont pleines de tromperies.
What says she, fair one? That the tongues of men are full of deceit?
Oui, let the tongues of the man be full of deceits. That is the princess.
Mary, if you were to put me to verses, or to dance for your sake, Kate, why you undid me? For the one, I have neither words nor measure. For the other, I have no strength in measure, yet a reasonable measure in strength. If I could win a lady at leapfrog, or by vaulting into my saddle with my armor on my back, under the correction of bragging be it spoken, I should quickly leap into a wife. If thou canst love a fellow of my temper, Kate, whose face is not worth sunburning, who never looks in his glass for love of anything that he sees there, let thine eyes be thy cook. I speak to thee, plain soldier. If thou canst love me for this, take me. If not, to say to thee that I shall die is true, but for thy love, by the Lord, no. Speak, my fair, and fairly, I pray thee.
Is it possible that I should love the enemy of France?
No, it is not possible that you should love the enemy of France, Kate. But in loving me, you should love the friend of France. For I love France so well that I will not part with a village of it. I will have it all mine. And Kate, when France is mine, and I am yours, then yours is France, and you are mine. Wilt thou have me?
I cannot tell.
Can any of your neighbors tell, Kate? Come, I'll ask them. I know thou lovest me, and at night, when you enter into your closet, you'll question this gentlewoman about me. And I know, Kate, you'll dispraise to her those parts in me that you love with your heart. But good Kate, mock me mercifully, the rather gentle princess, for I love thee cruelly. If ever thou beest mine, Kate, as I have a saving faith within me tells me thou shalt, I get thee with scambling. And thou must therefore prove a good soldier breeder. What sayest thou, my fair flower de luce?
So votre honneur.
By mine honor, Kate, I love thee. So what say you? Put off your maiden blushes. Avouch the thoughts of your heart with the looks of an empress. Take me by the hand and say, Harry of England, I am thine, which word shall no sooner bless mine ear withal than I shall tell thee. England is thine, Ireland is thine, France is thine, and Henry Plantagenet is thine. Who though I speak it before his face, if he be not fellow with the best king, thou shalt find the best king of good fellows. Wilt thou have me?
That is, it should please de Roman pair.
Nay, it shall please him well, Kate.
Then it shall also content me.
Upon that, I kiss your hand and call you my queen.
Laissez, monseigneur. Laissez. Laissez. Ma foi, je ne veux pas que vous abaissez un sentiment de notre seigneur. Indigne serviteur. Excusez-moi, je vous supplie, montrez pour son seigneur.
And I will kiss your lips, Kate.
Les dames et demoiselles pour être abaissées devant le noche. Elle n'est pas la coutume de France.
Madam, my interpreter, what says she?
That it is not be the fashion for les ladies of France. I cannot tell what is by say in English.
To kiss!
Your Majesty entendre better que moi.
It is not the fashion of the maids of France to kiss before they are married, would she say?
Oui, Clément.
Kate, nice customs curtsy to great kings. And therefore, most fair Catherine, you and I cannot be held within the weak list of a country's fashion. We are the makers of manners, Kate, and the liberty that follows our places stops the mouths of all fine faults, as I will do yours for upholding the nice fashion of your country and denying me a kiss. Therefore, patiently and yielding. You have witchcraft in your lips, Kate.
Thus far, with rough and all unable pen, our bending author hath pursued the story. In little room, confining mighty men, mangling by starts the full course of their glory.
Thank you everyone for coming to the closing night of our play Hentry V. It's been a many-month-long process, and we're really happy that you came out and shared this last with us today. We are a student club, and if you'd like to donate anything, we will have a box set up outside of the theater for props and costumes if you are interested. But in general, just thank you so much for coming to our show today. We are really glad to have you.
If you guys are excited to see your friends and family members who are in this cast, you can do that, but first we have to put all the props away. So you just have to wait a
But
second.
before that, we want to give, like, the entirety of the cast wants to give these 4 people right here so many thank yous because they've done such hard work on this production. So if we could just give them one more round of applause.